What's up everybody, welcome back to Gamers Be Like, I'm Bond, and today I'm going to try something a little bit different. So a couple weeks ago I guess millions of people around the world went and saw Endgame, Avengers Endgame. I was a little bit late going to see it, mainly because I don't like packed theatres, that kind of thing, but I did go see it, and I've been thinking about this video for a little while. And I've just been trying to figure out how best to put it together, so it's a little bit late, the movie's kind of old now, but I wanted to make it all the same. And basically, I want to go through some games that I think fit each of the Infinity Stones. So, I mean, I'm sure many of you already know, but for anybody that doesn't know, there is 6 Infinity Stones. There's the Space, Mind, Reality, Power, Time, and Soul Stones. They obviously play a huge part in the whole MCU over the last 10, 11 years as well, but most importantly, Infinity War and Endgame. So I'm going to go through games that I think fit the description of each thing. So, like, one game for space, one game for mind, etc. And I really want to know, when I was brainstorming this list, there was so many games I could think of for each category, and so many different ways in which I could interpret some of them, in particular the reality one, and the mind one as well. So I really want you guys to let me know what you would have as your 6 Infinity Stone games as Infinity Stones, Infinity games? I'm going to call them Infinity games. So let me know in the comments what your 6 would be, and I'm going to run down my 6 right now. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Space Stone. I'm going to order these as we saw them in the films, not necessarily the order in which they came time-wise in the timeline. I don't know. That's too confusing to think about right now. So the first one we ever saw was the Space Stone back in Captain America First Avenger, so we're going to start off with that one, and for that one I'm going to pick Destiny 2. Obviously the Destiny game would work, but Destiny 2 is the game I've played a whole bunch more, and just outside of Destiny there is so many space games, so I've obviously gone with the definition of space as in, like, the area outside of Earth, basically, you know, the atmosphere, the space. I mean, you could interpret this however you wanted, but yeah, with Destiny, you can run around on Earth, you can shoot stuff on Earth, you can shoot stuff on Titan, you can shoot stuff on Mars, you can shoot stuff on Mercury, you can shoot stuff on Nessus and Io, and there's a couple other planets. You can travel all over the universe and shoot stuff, basically. Shoot stuff and loot stuff, that is the name of the game. So this is the one that I think fitted for me as my Space Stone, and it's a game that I am still playing to this day, off and on. I really enjoy the grind, I guess, just playing stuff with my friends. And yeah, I mean, it's not exactly an amazing game, there's plenty of bugs here and there, a few things that I wish maybe Bungie would do differently or wouldn't have done, but I still really enjoy it nonetheless. And if you're looking for a spacefaring adventure, I definitely recommend at least checking it out. It is quite expensive now if you want to experience the whole thing. Obviously you've got the base game, and then you've got Forsaken, and then you've got the annual pass, and then whatever comes after the annual pass. So if you want to be up to date with everything, I do recommend getting it all, but obviously only if you're willing to put in the time, or want to put in the time, I should say. So yeah, that is my Space Stone. So next up we have the Mind Stone, which we saw all the way back in the original Avengers movie as Loki's staff, scepter, whatever you want to call it. It was obviously used later on for many other different things, but that is when we first saw it. And for Mind, I thought of a few different possible interpretations of the word, and I think, you know, it could be something with a really mind-bending story with like a crazy plot twist, maybe like a Bioshock game or something like that, or maybe Spec Ops: The Line. But then I thought, no, I'm gonna go with like puzzle game, like something that makes me think, and the first one that came into my mind for that is one of my favorite puzzle games of all time, I guess, is Portal. I opted for the original one just because it was the original, but I like both 1 and 2, and just the mind-bending kind of where to put the portals. You're gonna go through that portal, come out that portal, and then do something. It's a really, really, really clever puzzle game, with a style that I think many games have tried to imitate since, with slightly different mechanics. You've obviously had stuff like Quantum Conundrum and Cube and Chroma Gun, that kind of thing, that are similar, but they're not portals, I guess, but the similar kind of mindset that you might need to play them. And yeah, I just really enjoy these puzzle games, and I think it's my perfect one to go in as a Mind Stone. Alright, the Reality Stone, or the Reality Liquid, whatever you want to call it, was originally seen back in Thor the Dark World. The word reality is really, in video game terms, is such a broad term, I think. Obviously my first thought was virtual reality. I thought about recording some PSVR stuff and that kind of thing, but then I thought, how do you pick just one game in virtual reality? I don't know. I haven't even played any VR yet. So opted against that because it just caused me more decisions to make. So I thought maybe we could do stuff like more realistic type of shooters, maybe Operation Flashpoint, something like that, or stuff more rooted in realism. And then I decided I'm gonna go for a sports game because obviously they use real players, they use real stadiums, real this, real that, etc. And I mean, you can pretty much pick any of the sports games for the way I've decided to go about it: FIFA, Madden, NBA, etc. But FIFA's the sports game I probably like the most. I don't play a whole ton of sports games in general, but when I do, I like playing FIFA, so that is the one I've gone with. Obviously, there is a certain arcadiness to it. It's not like 100% realistic, but being a video game, obviously, maybe Pro Evolution Soccer would be more realistic. I don't know. It's hard to say what exactly is real in a video game, I think. So yeah, I'm sure you guys will have many different games that you would put as your reality stone. But yeah, I'm gonna go with FIFA. Here's obviously some footage of me playing FIFA badly. And yeah, I mean, so FIFA for my reality stone. Ooh boy, the Power Stone. So we originally saw this in the film way back in Guardians of the Galaxy. And for video games, I think there is so many video games that make you feel powerful. I mean, inherently, I think video games were probably built on that, just giving you fantasies of stuff that you could probably never do or be. And in this day and age, there are so many games that just make you feel like insanely powerful. I mean, there's plenty that don't, that have gone the other way to offer kind of variety and that kind of thing. But yeah, there was so many on my list for this, and I've decided to go with probably my favorite game that made me feel the most powerful, and that is Crackdown. Any one of the series pretty much, but obviously this footage here is from Crackdown 3. I just love it when you level up your agent to like max agility and max whatnot, and you're just running around, you're just jumping over buildings, you're just stomping on cars and picking up trucks and just throwing them away. You're basically unstoppable, especially if you're playing like the easy difficulty and that kind of thing. You feel even more powerful, obviously. I mean, it's just insane, and I think it's the perfect game for a power trip. And it's looking like Rage 2 might have made this list if I'd have been making it a little bit later and I'd played it a little bit more, because from what I've seen of that game, there is a lot of similarities with Crackdown, where you're just an unstoppable force, basically. And yeah, that is why I'm putting Crackdown as my power stone. Like I said, with all these other stones, I'm sure there is loads that you guys will think of to put in place of this one. And so I think this one in particular is one with a huge scope of games you could pick for it. So again, make sure to let me know in the comments, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, the time stone. This one's quick and easy, pretty obvious. We're going to go with Darkest of Days. That should require no more explanation. Alright, moving on. Alright, I'm just kidding. The actual game I'm going to pick for this one is Ocarina of Time, the Zelda game from the N64. Came out back in '98, I think. And this game was a huge part of my childhood, and it was the first game that I thought of when creating this list. It was the game that sparked the idea to begin with. And I still play this game off and on to this day on the 3DS version, and it's still such a good game to me. I love it. I love the memories it brings back. I love the dungeon design, but I mean, the reason obviously it's in this list is the time stone. It's in the name, Ocarina of Time, but there's the time travel aspect of it. You obviously you start off as young Link, then you time travel forward to become old Link, then you go back again to do some puzzles, and then come forward, and you're constantly going back and forth in time. And yeah, so I mean, that's the exact reason why I have put it here as the time stone. And just in general, this game is just so much fun. I love just playing it, even though I know how to play all the puzzles out. It's just so much fun to just run around Hyrule Field and play through the bosses again and do the dungeons and do the side quests, like getting the big Goron sword, that kind of thing. It's just so much fun. And I get on this game and I still know the notes on the N64 controller for the songs for a lot of them, which kind of surprised me. It's just almost like riding a bike. I got on here to record it from the N64 and I was just knocking out tunes, so that shows you how much of an impact this game has had on my life. I got it way back when I didn't get it. My older brother got it for his N64 for Christmas, I believe, in '98 probably, and he played it a lot. And then I eventually got to have a go when he was home at like the holidays and stuff because he was at boarding school. And then down the road, more recently, a few years ago, I actually inherited the 64 from him. He didn't want it anymore, so I actually have it, and I still have this game to this day. And I don't intend on getting rid of it anytime soon. So that is my time stone. This is the one that's closest to my heart on this list. I would love to know what games, just in general, what games are close to your childhood and whatnot. But yeah, that is the one that's going in for my time stone. We're here, the final stone. So this was the stone that we didn't see until Infinity War. And that is the Soul Stone. This one didn't take me too much thinking to get to. Obviously, in the film, it's obviously a lot to do with death. So Dark Souls was the obvious choice for me. Most people are dying a lot in that game. Souls are a huge part of it. Couldn't think of anything better, more fitting for the stone than Dark Souls. So that is why I've gone for it. It is a really, really, I don't want to say niche game because I think they're pretty big now. But it's a really kind of a lot more slow paced than a lot of your other games that you play these days. There's a lot more patience required, there's a lot more strategy required, I guess, to take down some of the bosses. You gotta time your parries and your blocks and your dodges and your strikes. And yeah, and I mean, the part of the game that I think, I'm not gonna be able to get any footage for it because I don't have a save file that far, and weeks before I got there, but the part that I think mirrors what happens in Infinity War the most is the Four Kings fight, where you drop down into that pit and you're just fighting him. It might be a fairly loose connection, but that's the first thing that I thought of. And it's maybe the first boss I think of every time I think of Dark Souls. So yeah, that is my Soul Stone. So there we have it. That is my 6 Infinity Stones as games, so my Infinity games, I guess. And like I said, I made this video as more as opening up a discussion with you guys. I really want to know what you guys would put as your stones. These are obviously just my opinion of what I would put my favorite games that I think fit each category. So, like I said, I could think of many ones for all of them. I would love to hear what your guys' ones are. So make sure to let me know in the comments below, or tweet them at me. You can you can find my Twitter in the description. Let me know what you thought of the movie. I thought it was really cool. I really liked it a lot, but try and keep the spoilers to a minimum, I guess. I'm sure there's plenty of people who haven't seen it yet, maybe. So yeah, try and be respectful of that. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video. I have a few more very, very unformed ideas in my mind of similar things to do with these kind of videos. But I would love to make some more lists where I throw out my opinion of it and then, or my ideas, and then you throw them back at me, like what your ideas would be. I mean, I love hearing different opinions of stuff in games. People enjoying games in general is great to see. And yeah, I mean, if you liked the video, make sure to give me that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you do want to see more content. Hit the bell if you want to know when that goes live. And I'll leave you guys to think about your 6.